Welcome everyone to my channel Academos, a channel of self-exploration. Hope you are enjoying my audition that I am delivering one after another. And today I am going to touch upon a very specious part of English literature, not English grammar. English literature is far more. Remember one thing, English literature is far more enriching, interesting and mesmerizing than English grammar. English grammar is to some extent boring. Grammar has no soul, but literature has soul, because literature is the representation of human life. Literature is the literature is the soul of human life. Literature explores human life, human psychology, human emotion, human love. All these things literature explore. And today today's topic is sonnet. Today's topic is sonnet. Those who are new to my channel, subscribe and press the bell icon so that you do not miss the valuable education as regards English subject and self-exploration. Sonnet. What is sonnet? Sonnet is a very valuable word in English literature. It is very precious. Sonnet occupies a major area in English literature. When the word sonnet comes, some question arises in our mind. What does sonnet mean? First question, what does sonnet mean? Where is the word sonnet derived from? When was this word first introduced? Who created this word? Who created this poetic form? How did it grow? How did it develop? How was it mixed with other literature? And finally, how was it transported in English literature? These are the questions. Now let us explore the answer. First, literally sonnet is a poem. Sonnet is a lyrical poem. Sonnet is a poem. Sonnet is a lyrical poem. It is a poetic form. It is a form of poem. This word is derived from an Italian word sonetto. This word is derived from an Italian word sonetto, and the Italian word sonetto is derived from sonas, and which means sound, little song, little strain. Thus it is very clear, sonnet is a poem of music. Sonnet is a poem of music. This poem gives off the smell of music. That's why this poem was very famous, very familiar. Music is the heart of human. Music is the medicine of human heart. Music is the soul of human heart, and this sonnet provides this soul, full energy. When was this word first created, and who created this word? This is the question. This is the two major vital question. This is the two vital questions. A Sicilian poet or a lawyer, Giacomo Lentini, first created this word, first created this poem, first created this poetic form. He invented this poetic form. He introduced it at the Holy Roman Court of Frederick II of 13th century. It was then 13th century. Now it is 21st century. Now it is 21st century, and this poetic form was created in the 13th century. Now we have to go back to the distant past to know the history of sonnets, because everything has history. Today we are here, we have history, isn't it? We have history, we have the descendant. Where from did we come? Who are our forefathers? Similarly, sonnet. In the 13th century, Sicilian poet introduced this word at the Holy Roman Court of Frederick II, and the court accepted this poem, and Lentini was famous. Lentini was appreciated by the scholars of the then society, by the poets of the then society. by the poets of the court. Lentini wrote sonnets in Sicilian dialect. Lentini wrote sonnets in Sicilian dialects. It was then 1230 to 1240. Now the question, what is sonnet? Now the question, what is sonnet? Everything has sign, everything has identity. I have identity, I have my one identity, you have your one identity. You are the son of Mr. Sam. I am son of Mr. A. So sonnet has also an identity. Everything should have an identity. Sonnet has also. We cannot call any poem sonnet. It has some specific definition, specific sign, specific stamp. So specific sign or stamp. So what is sonnet? The definition: sonnet is a poem of 14 lines, only 14 lines. 14-line poems are known sonnet. Today we also see Indian writers writing sonnets, but its origin was in Sicily, in Italy, in the 13th century, that descended down. These 14 lines are divided into two sections. One octave, another sestet. Octave consists of 8 lines, that's why it is called octave, and sestet consists of 6 lines, that's why it is called sestet. Octaves has another name that is called pari, and sestet has another name that is called volta. Here you should remember that sonnet, volta means turn. Volta means turn, just turn. From one climax to another climax, one situation to another situation. Literature is the representation of human life. Sonnet is also the presentation of human mind. Sonnet was then written to express human thoughts, human minds, human philosophy, human psychology. And sonnets were written then on love, to express love. It was a vehicle. It was a good medium to express the scholars and poets' love to their beloved, because love is the existence, love is life, and the poet wrote sonnets in praise of love. Octave proposes problems, conflict, tension. In the 8 lines, there is a description of human minds, of conflict, tension, confusion that a human mind passes through. And from 9th lines, the poet shows some turn. The poet shows resolution from proposition, from problem to solution, conflict to stability, tension to calmness. Sestet advocates that this is the main theme of sonnet. And the certain rhyme schemes is very complex. Sonnet's rhyme scheme is complex. This is you should know it. What is its rhyme scheme? Octave pursues the rhyme scheme AB BA, and sestet pursues the rhyme scheme CDE or CD or some certain other structure. This is the mathematics of sonnet. Lentini's descendant was Guittoni di Arezzo, who rediscovered sonnet again. He brought it to Tuscan, to his native. Guittoni was a great scholar also, great poet. He built a school of poetry that was known as Guittonian School. He rediscovered this poetic form, he reshaped, he changes, beautified, alternation. He wrote sonnet. He wrote near about 250 sonnets. He wrote more than 250 sonnets, and sonnets are very beautiful. The sonnets are on love to his beloved, just like Lentini. This poetic form was the creation of the Renaissance period in Italy, and they are the scholars, Renaissance scholar, and they are the Renaissance scholar. Next came Guido. Next come Guido Cavalcanti and Michelangelo, who also wrote different beautiful poems of sonnet. They were the precious scholars. 14th century was most blazing and inspiring century for Italy. Italy saw revolution and evolution of thoughts, of intellect, of arts, culture, literature, language. Everything revolutionized in the soil of Italy. And that period is called Renaissance, that is known as Novojagaran. First Novojagaran took place in the soil of Italy, then it spread to the rest of the countries of Europe. And in the 13th and 14th century, a number of great and genius persons were born there. One of them is Dante. Everybody knows the name of Dante, just as Shakespeare, just as Rabindranath in our country. Dante was a great poet. Dante was a great scholar. He wrote number of things, number of poems. He brought about a dimensional change in the language of Italy. That's why Dante is called the father of Italian language. Dante wrote sonnets. Dante followed his predecessor and wrote sonnets. He also helped to beautify and glorify the form of Italian sonnet. Dante addressed his sonnets to his beloved Beatrice. Beatrice was his beloved, was his lady love. It is a very noteworthy thing that sonnet was then a vehicle of expressing love. And Dante also used sonnets to express his love to his beloved. In the beginning of 14th century, another noble being was born in Italy. He was Francisco Petrarch. Petrarch was more influencing than Dante. Petrarch was not only a poet but also a great scholar, great writer. He was also a great humanist. Everybody knows the name of Petrarch. One thing is to be remembered, that Italian sonnets are called Petrarchan sonnets. But Petrarch did not create this sonnet, did not invent this poetic form. Why? Petrarch wrote 317 sonnets. He also addressed his sonnets to his beloved, to his lady love, Laura di Novis or Nora. Petrarch actually developed, glorified, modified and enhanced the beauty of Italian sonnets. He popularized this form. He was the developer, he was the changer, but he did not alter the formation, the poetic form. He followed his predecessor, Guitone di Arezzo, and his principle of poetic form of sonnet. Petrarch applied brilliant wit, brilliant conceit, comprehensive comparison, and imaginative comparison and images in the sonnet, and thus the sonnets blossomed. Thus sonnet blossomed, just a flower blossom. Petrarch's sonnet sequence is called canzoniere. All his sonnets are found in this sonnet sequence, in this book. The sonnet, a beautiful poem, gradually came out from the boundary of court, Roman court. Then it came out from the boundary of Italy. First, this poetic form traveled to Spain, then France, then Poland, then Holland, then Germany, and it traveled to most of the countries of Europe. Wherever it reached, it was accepted warmly. It got assimilated, it got mixed up in their culture, in their language, in their literature. In the 14th century, but actually sonnet, the beautiful poem, reached its highest peak in the 16th century, when this poem was transported in England. During the period of Renaissance, number of poets and scholars of England went to Italy. They sought every valuable things, they sought every wisdom from Italy, and they returned to their native. And one of them seeking was sonnet. Okay, this is a detailed description of Italian and Petrarchan sonnet. And in the next video, I'll come with Shakespearean or Elizabethan sonnet. That will be the second part of this sonnet. Be happy, study happily.